Welcome to Boxcar English, where there's always room for you. My name is Karl. It's good to see you. Get on this train. Let's ride. I've got another story for you. My friend Kate asked me to be a judge. I shook my head and said, "No. That would be impossible," I said. "I did not go to law school. I could not be a judge." Kate said, "But Karl," I held up my hand as a signal for her to let me speak. "The idea will not work. I'm sorry. I do not look good in loose black clothes." Finally, Kate told me that it was not necessary for me to have an education in law because I would only be judging different pies. "Pies?" I asked. "What kind of pies?" "I'm talking about dessert, like apple pie or cherry pie. You know what a pie is, right?" I didn't answer. Kate continued, "It's a thin layer of pastry holding a sweet filling often made of fruit." "Well, Kate," I said, I don't know. I don't know much about pie." Kate told me this did not matter. The contest was tomorrow. She needed a judge before then. She had asked our friend Brian, but he got sick and could not eat pie. "What happened to Brian?" I asked. I hadn't heard about our friend's illness. Kate said, "He told me he was vomiting all night long." "Oh," I said. Hearing about Brian made me not want to eat pie. "It makes me less hungry to hear about that," I said. "Please," said Katie, "I need your help." "Okay," I said. I agreed to judge the pie contest. It would be the next day, which was a Tuesday. Normally, I play cards with my grandmother on Tuesdays. She lives in a place with other elderly people. They all have their own apartments that are connected to a big room where they eat their meals, play cards, sing around the piano, and watch fish swimming in a tank together. It's a very nice place. That's where I meet my grandma to play cards on Tuesdays. I picked up my phone and called my grandmother. She answered. "Hello, my good boy." She calls me good boy, kind of like a dog. "Hello, Gran," I said. That's what I call her, Gran. "How are you today?" She said she was doing well, but would not be able to play cards tomorrow. "Oh," I said. "What are you doing tomorrow?" I asked. "Oh, I'm so excited," she said. "We're all making pies for a contest tomorrow." I was very surprised and wondered if I would be able to judge fairly. "Gran," I asked, "will you be making your famous apple pie?" "Of course," she said, "and I'm going to win first prize." My grandmother is a very lively person and very funny. She always surprises me, and I love her very much. "Guess what, Gran?" I said. I was asked to be the judge of the contest tomorrow. Oh, no, she said. Why are you saying that? I asked. Isn't it funny? Well, you'll just give me first place even if my pie isn't the best one. I know what you mean, I said, but I will try to be as fair and honest as possible. That's the best thing you can do, Karl. You're a good boy, she said. The next day, I decided to wear a pair of white pants with a black shirt and a white tie. These clothes might help me look like I know a lot about pie, I thought. I wished I had a tie with pictures of pies on it, but I did not. I suppose if I did have a tie like that, I would probably already know a lot about pie. I would probably have a row of books that was all about pie and the history of pie. But as it is, I don't know anything more about pie than anyone else. I've only made pies a few times in my life, probably at Christmas or Thanksgiving or some summer party. I couldn't even remember the last time I made a pie. But this was only a small event, I thought, only a friendly party that people were having just to get together and enjoy each other. So I told myself, it's not so important. I can just relax and enjoy the pie. I smiled at myself in the mirror and straightened my tie. I had a small tear in the corner of my eye. I got into my car and drove to the park. To my surprise, the parking lot was full. I had to park my car on a street far away and walk to the park. I started sweating because it was a hot day. I wished I had brought a hat. I was also nervous because there were so many more people than I had expected. So I was sweating more because of that. There were a lot of people walking towards the park around me. I didn't know any of these people. I realized that I didn't know why the pie contest was being held that day. When I arrived at the park, though, I saw a stage there with musical instruments on it. There was a very big picture of a young girl on the stage, and it said, "Welcome home, Lisa." When I found Kate at the pie contest table, I asked her who Lisa was. She didn't seem to understand me, so I repeated, "Who is Lisa?" more loudly. "Lisa?" she asked, seeming surprised. "You don't watch American Idol?" "No," I said. "Well, she came in 6th place," said Kate. "Oh," I said. I felt a little sad, realizing how far away from the center of attention I was, even though before I had been worried about it. But I felt better soon because people would not be watching me so closely, and I was looking forward to seeing my grandmother and tasting the different pies. As it turned out, there were 39 pies in the contest. Wow, I thought. I'm going to have to take a bite of each one of these 39 pies. It was a lot more than I had expected. Each pie had a number written beside it on a small piece of paper so the judge, me, couldn't know who made which pie. Except I knew what my grandmother's apple pie looked and tasted like. It was obviously number 33. The first pie I tasted was very good. I don't know what kind of fruit was in it, but it was kind of a purple color. The second pie was also good, and it was also a kind of purple color. After I tried the second pie, I looked around for a piece of paper to take notes on. I noticed a stack of paper napkins on the table, and I took one of the napkins and I found a blue pen and I wrote pie number 1, good purple. And under that I wrote pie number 2, good purple. It wasn't easy to write on the napkin. I kept making holes in it. Kate was already giving me the next 7 plates also, and it was clear that I needed to go a bit faster. I gave up taking notes and decided that if one pie was really, really good, I would remember it. So I started trying all the pies very quickly. I found that the pies tasted very much the same. I was also getting very thirsty. I called for Kate and asked for some water, and she told someone else to bring me some. In the meantime, I kept tasting the pies. After the 10th pie, I was already getting pretty full and tired of eating pie. I still didn't have any water and was having trouble swallowing all the pie. I looked down and saw there were several purple stains on my white pants from all the pie. There were also red and purple stains on my tie. When I got to the 15th pie, which was a banana pie, I just took one bite, chewed it a couple of times, and spat it out under the table. There's no way I'm going to remember what each of these pies is like, I thought. They were coming too fast. Bits of pie were falling all over my clothes. When I finally got to number 33, though, which was my grandmother's famous apple pie, I did swallow that bite. And it was somehow much better than all the others. But I thought I probably like it more because Gran made it. Anyway, I made sure to set aside a whole piece of that one to enjoy later. Once I tried the 37th pie, which I spat into the growing pile under the table, Kate finally handed me a paper cup full of water. I drank the whole thing down in less than a second and asked for more. Then I settled down and tasted the last 2 pies, both apple. In the end, I still thought the best pie was my grandmother's. But I also knew that I was not a very good judge, and so I decided to pick a number at random. I took all 39 pieces of paper with numbers written on them, shuffled them like cards, and pulled one out. I got number 33. That was Gran's number. Gran's famous apple pie. I thought about pulling a second number, but it just felt right to give Gran the prize. Lisa, the winner of 6th place in the American Idol singing contest, announced the winner from the big stage. Pie number 33 by someone who calls themselves Gran, she said. I watched Gran walk on stage, very confident, in front of hundreds of people. Lisa gave her the microphone and Gran said, "I acknowledge that my grandson was the judge of the pie contest. But he's a good boy, and he wouldn't have picked me if I wasn't the best one." The crowd cheered. That's all for this time, friends. Thanks for listening. I look forward to seeing you again on the next Boxcar English, where there's always room for you.